Hey guys, today I want to talk about something that I call the aesthetics of athletics. And this isn't like most people who talk about, aesthetic athletics. They're talking about like Mike O'Hearn, who looks like a bodybuilder, but he trains really heavy, so he came up with his concept of power bodybuilding. And that's basically just like, you know, very strong, okay, especially proud of his tendon and ligament strength for longevity purposes and health purposes. But he also looks like a lean, big, well-developed bodybuilder as well. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the same thing. There's a guy on YouTube, Omar Islouf, I think is his name. I'm pronouncing that extremely wrong, but Omar talks about, aesthetic athletics, and I think he's talking about combining, once again, bodybuilding with like powerlifting or Olympic weightlifting, which is also not what I'm talking about. When I say the aesthetics of athletics, what I'm really talking about is something that I had my first experience with back in the 90s. Reading, I think it was Men's Health magazine or something like that. I was in the military, I was off in the field somewhere, and there was a guy that I was with, on this maneuver, and he was like getting into bodybuilding. He was lifting weights, he was getting into nutrition and stuff. He was telling me about how he had a 4-pack and he was working on getting a 6-pack for the first time. But what it was in Men's Health, they had like an old Greek statue, and they put up the measurements of the Greek statue, the proportions and stuff. And I don't think it was David. It was probably something like, like kind of like Zeus or something like that. But it was interesting because I was reading it, and when the guy's like, wait a minute, tell me what's this again? What was the shoulder measurement, and what was the chest measurement, and what was the waist measurement? And I told him, and he says, oh, it's out of proportion. He's like, that's not right. That's not a V-taper. And sure enough, when I read the article in the magazine, they talked about that. They said he has a thicker waist than would actually be like the bodybuilding ideal. And what they said was that the Greeks based their statues upon warriors and athletes. So it was not a matter of like the pretty boy V-taper. Because this guy was a warrior and he participated in warrior sports like wrestling, for instance, where you have to grab a guy and, and plant your feet on the ground and throw him around, you need a lot of like oblique strength, you need a lot of lower back strength, you need a lot of ab strength. And because of that, your waist is just going to be bigger, just because of like leaning to the side and grabbing people and pulling them and throwing them. So because of wrestling, yes, he was... this person in this statue was actually out of proportion. He did not have a V-taper. But the fact of the matter is, the term Greek god is, it's just a term that we use for a male with a perfect alpha male body. So even though he didn't have the pretty boy V-taper, he just had one hell of a powerful physique. Like a guy looks at it and he's like, damn, that guy is in shape. He's a good athlete. He's not somebody I'd like to throw down with. Women look at him and they're like, oh my God, that guy is just, a very strong, powerful, masculine person. Like everybody finds that physique attractive, even though it's not the pretty boy V-taper. So, so that's actually what I call the aesthetics of athletics. What I'm talking about is basically you train for a sport, okay, some endeavor, some result. And sport, I say this, you could be a firefighter, a police officer, you could be a soldier, an MMA fighter, whatever, okay, an acrobat, whatever. You train to perform in some sort of physical manner. And you're not fat, okay, so you can see the muscle that you have, and you're going to look good, okay? You get like the skinny guys that like, I call them the bad guys from a kung fu movie. Like the first person that inspired me to get in awesome shape when I was just about to turn 40 was the guy from the movie Ninja Assassin. He was tiny, but he was extraordinarily lean, extraordinarily athletic, excellent fight scenes, the way he moved in that movie, just completely defined muscles, and he looked awesome. Bruce Lee was 135 pounds. 140 pounds top, and that guy was obviously, he had one of the most iconic bodies ever, okay? There are 300-pound bodybuilders that were inspired to bodybuild by his 130-pound ass, and like I said, you look at, Olympic gymnasts, people like that. So when you're an athletic person, you might be actually out of proportion in places, but at the same time, you you know, the total package presents just an alpha male presence, an ability where, like I said, people know that you work hard. They know you don't count your calories to lose weight. They know you work your ass off training to lose weight. You know, they know that you don't pump up your muscles to make them look big. They know you're training, doing deadlifts, doing Olympic lifts, doing whatever it is you're doing to get good at this particular physical endeavor. And because of that, your muscles grow. So that's basically the way that I work. That's the way that I, you know, train. That's the way that my training is. You know, you train for a specific purpose, and your nutrition supports that. You get very strong, you get bigger in certain places, you get very lean, and because of that, you look awesome. And as a matter of fact, you know, if you ask me personally, you know, I'll tell you what's the difference between cutting and bulking starts and ends with diet. You know, do you do cardio when you're cutting? It's like, hell, I do cardio when I'm bulking. You know, I probably do more cardio now, you know, when I'm bulking than I've done at times when I was cutting. And, you know, the fact of the matter is, I've spoken about this in other videos, the way I set up my cardio builds muscle as well, okay? You know, I don't train to build muscle, train to lose fat. I just train myself, and there are points when I'm like, okay, I'm going to adjust my diet specifically to build some strength, to build some muscular size, still do the same workout. And then it's like, okay, I need to bring it in a little bit. I want to go ahead and get a little bit leaner, give my body a break because I've been pushing, trying to get stronger. So now I'll go ahead and maintain my strength. Of course, you're always trying to get stronger. And then I'll go ahead and just, you know, adjust my diet so I get leaner. And that's basically, you know, the difference for me between cutting and bulking. Same workout, same goals. You just, you know, adjust your diet depending upon what you want the result to be. And if you're interested in learning how to do that yourself, if you're interested in learning how to adjust your diet so that you go from, you know, like a bulking, a muscle building, a strength building phase into a leaning out phase seamlessly, I've got 4 different diets I put together into one package. 2 of them are for cutting, 2 of them are for bulking. And they can be used interchangeably. You know, you don't have to go through fat adaptation if you want to cut because you've been eating, you know, ho-hos and cheesy poofs to bulk on. You know, you basically go from a low-carb bulk to a low-carb cut. You can do mini bulks and mini cuts. It really works perfectly because you're keto adapted the entire time. So you don't have to change your diet. You just have to change the specifics of your diet. If you're interested in checking that out, you're watching this on Instagram, go to my profile, click on low-carb cutting and bulking. It's the link in my profile. And if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, just go ahead and click on the link below the video. And other than that, see you guys in the next video.